So, great news coming out of Big Bend with the signing of Rain to the Tampa Bay Rays.
Great news. That's great news. Very exciting for everybody in Alberta and everybody here that's been involved with Rain. We're very excited for him.
Maybe tell us about that moment when you heard you got drafted. I mean, what were you feeling?
Oh, it was kind of an unorthodox way of doing it. We're just getting ready to move out of our house, and I was cleaning around, went and looked at my phone, had a missed call, and I opened it as Tampa Bay, so I called them back. I was like, oh, hey, how's it going? What's going on? They were like, did you hear? I was like, no, because I wasn't listening to it. We don't have cable at our house, so they're like, oh, we picked you in the 23rd round. And it was really exciting, just with my roommates and stuff. It was a surreal feeling, yeah.
Had you had any communication with them before the draft?
They'd called me the night before, and they just kind of said stay by the phone, so I just kind of had it on me all day, but I missed it still, but just that's how she goes, I guess.
Who were you talking to on the phone?
I was just talking to it was a local scout from Tampa Bay, so I think his name was Paul Kirsch, so.
Cool. So kind of take us a little bit through your journey here. How did you arrive at Big Bend? Were you a starter right away, or how did this all come together for you at Big Bend?
To start, I was planning on going to school with my brother, just kind of maybe play baseball here and there. I didn't take it as seriously as I probably should have, which may hurt me in the long run. But when my dad was doing a lot of research, and we found this place, so we sent Coach Doman an email and see if I could come try out, send him some video. Came down, had a pretty good recruiting trip, and then freshman year, played shortstop, pitched, was an all-conference guy, so it worked out really well. Went to a sophomore showcase. It went well there too, and just throughout the year, I had an injury, so I missed about half the season, but just blessed that I could stay healthy for the second half, and turned out really well.
Just, are you a one-sport athlete? I mean, have you always played baseball?
I've always played baseball, but being from Canada, it's not usually the most popular sport. So I played a lot of hockey, played some basketball, football. Anything with a ball, I'll have fun with. So.
Maybe give us a scouting report on your pitches. What's your best pitch?
I throw a fastball, a curveball, and a slider, and then I'm working on my changeup. My favorite pitch is probably my slider, though. It's kind of my wipeout pitch that I can throw for a strike, I can throw in the dirt, throw it any time in the count. So.
What do you hit with your fastball?
I'm usually about 88. I've been up to 92, 93, so in that range, kind of 88 to 92 during the season. So
Coach, great news again, like I said, for Big Bend. How's it been a joy? Been a little bit of working with Rain over the last couple of years. Tell me a little bit about your relationship.
He's been a great kid. He came in. He's a very humble kid when he came. Hard worker, and from day one, the thing that sets him apart from probably the majority of kids that I've coached in 40 years is the fact that day in and day out he goes and plays the game with red-faced and sweaty, and that's something that I've always tried to preach. But in practice, he's diving for balls. He just loves the game, and he goes out and he plays with that enthusiasm every single day. It doesn't matter if it's a practice or it's a game. He's there, and he's just smile on his face because he just truly enjoys and plays the game the way it's supposed to be played. If I could get other guys to show that on a more consistent basis, then we might have a few more guys in his situation.
Well, and we were kind of talking earlier off camera about it's big news. I mean, it's great for Rain, right on, man. But it's good news for Big Bend too, because one of the first initial signings out of Big Bend.
It is. I've been in Moses Lake since basically I've been involved with baseball since 1980, and my first year that I coached at Big Bend in 1980, we did have a young man that signed with the New York Mets, Eric Kuntz, out of Wenatchee, but he wasn't drafted. If I recall correctly, he was a free agent signer after the draft had taken place, and went on and played a year or two in minor league ball. His claim to fame was that he was a teammate of 18-year-old Darryl Strawberry at the time, and Strawberry cost him a game one time playing the outfield, and so but I'm not sure. There could have been players in the Johnson era, the Embury era, or the Lindgren era that did sign, but to my knowledge, at least in the recent history, I think he's the first out of Big Bend. Now there have been players that maybe have gone on to school after Big Bend and been drafted from that school, but I am not certain that there have been maybe 2 or 3 or maybe a handful of guys that may be in the situation that Rain is with being signed right out of Big Bend.
And how do you feel about that, Rain? I mean, do you like being maybe at the top of that list?
Well, it's definitely exciting and I guess kind of stressful at the same time. Like it's just so nice to have options. It's a good problem to have. Like go play at a great program at Old Dominion or go play the game that I love and get paid to do it. It's just, I guess, a nice problem to have, but still decisions have to be made. So.
How close are you on making that decision?
I have a meeting this Sunday, so it'll be probably within the week on what's best for me, what's best for my family. Obviously, that's the main concern is just what's best for us.
And you're playing for the Apple Sox right now, currently, right?
Yeah, I've thrown a couple games for them. That's kind of I threw there last year, and I really enjoyed my experience. Love Wenatchee. Coaches are good, so it's kind of my home away from home, I guess, outside of Big Bend. So.
Are you still going to play there this summer? Or?
I'm scheduled for a start, but I'm not sure if I'm going to take it just until I get the contract situation figured out, just to avoid injury and just make sure everything is in line before I decide to move forward.
And how important is it to you that, I mean, it's a tremendous situation to be in, but again, you know, you got a lot on the line that you got to think about, and education, man, in this day and age for sure is important and something to fall back on. So you got some heavy decisions to make. And
oh, yeah.
How important is education to you? Getting your education.
Obviously, school is always important. That's the way life works. You have to be educated to get a quality job and be able to make a living. But obviously, I'm still a kid. All I want to do is play baseball. But obviously, I have to look at all angles and see what's best for me and my family. And once we figure that out, then we can go for it.
I was just going to ask a real quick follow-up question. Do you have any brothers or anybody else coming up that you know might be playing baseball or another sport? Or
I have an older brother. He played baseball in high school. He lives in London, England. He's a film producer out there. And then I have a younger sister who's graduating high school this year, but she's more of a basketball player. So.
Okay, cool.
Coach, I don't hate to put you on the spot here, but maybe what's your advice for your player here? Do you want him to sign that contract or go on to college? What do you think?
You know, that's a tough question, and it was the same question that I had when my son was being drafted at that time too, right out of high school. I'm an educator, and education's always going to be important, and I'm always going to probably lean in that direction. But you know what? Everybody's got to follow his heart. He's got to do what he feels is, as he said, best for him and best for his family. You know, if things are structured in the correct way, maybe he can have a little bit of both, and that would be a wonderful thing. But you know, I guess if I were to make that decision for him, I'd love to see him go on to school into a structured program and maybe get drafted even higher next year. But you know what? Maybe there are a lot of factors involved. The possibility of getting injured, just his passion for playing. And when I'm talking to him today, and he says, "Coach, all I want to do is play," it just shot me right back to when my son was sitting across from me and said, "Dad, all I want to do is play." So God bless him. You know, I'm going to support him whatever he decides to do. I'm going to be in his corner, and we're just going to make the best of whatever decision he makes.